Thoughts on the readings for May 3rd, Deuteronomy 20, Ecclesiastes 12, Acts 11, 12. Deuteronomy 20 speaks of laws covering the behavior of the Israelites in warfare. The priests were to stimulate the courage of the Israelites as they were about to enter into battle. If any man had married recently, he would be allowed a year off before joining the army. Similarly, anyone would be allowed to partake of their first fruits before enlisting for active army service. Yahweh would fight for his host. However, if anyone in the nation was fearful, or doubted their omnipotent sovereign's ability to deliver his people, then that person was to be sent home so as to not damage the morale of his comrades. For nations other than the 7 Canaanitish nations, terms of peace were to be offered, and if accepted, that nation would become a tributary nation. Should terms of peace be rejected, then siege would be made. The males of that city would be destroyed and the spoil taken by the Israelites. As for the Canaanitish nations, no quarter was to be shown to them, but they were to be totally destroyed. Israel was commanded that during the siege timber could be taken from any tree except fruit trees. Ecclesiastes 12 verses 1 to 8 instruct us to remember our Creator is the days of our youth. For, says the wise man, the time will come when every desire fails. This he terms the evil day. Those of us who are aging rapidly feel that day encroaching too rapidly. Verses 2 describe the aging process and the declining of the body in a series of graphic and frightening metaphors. Verse 2 speaks of the inability to distinguish light from night, and as the bodily heat becomes lost, to know what season the aging person is in. Verse 3 tells of the enfeebling of the arms and legs. The same verse tells of the decaying of the teeth and their falling out, and of failing eyesight. Verse 4 is describing the loss of interest in anything external to themselves and the failure to experience stimulation through music and other past delights. Verse 5 describes the anxiety that accompanies aging. Everything is an insurmountable trouble. The aged person is resembling a crippled grasshopper dragging itself by its front legs. There is no longer pleasure in anything, and the decrepit individual cannot wait for death to come. Verse 6 speaks of the instability of the spine, of the failure of the brain to function, and of the breakdown of the heart. Verse 7 speaks of the end. The body returns to the dust from which it came. Genesis 2 verse 7, 3:17-19. And so, says Solomon, life as an end in itself is entirely meaningless. Verses 9 to 12 describe the preacher's exertions to reach wise ways in which there will profit, and as assurance of a future. Wise counsel will result in responding to the Almighty and walking in His ways. He will goad us and guide us in the paths of righteousness. God is the great shepherd whose word is firm and His counsel unfailing. And so concludes the assembler of wise sayings Koheleth, or the preacher, in verses 13 to 14, that the whole, complete, man is the one who reverences God and walks in the way of His commandments. Acts 11 commences with Peter being caused to justify why he baptized Gentiles. We next have a description of the progress of the truth in Antioch in the province of Syria, where believers were first derisively called Christians. One of these faithful believers is a prophet named Agabus. He prophesies of a great famine that would affect the entire Roman world. The disciples of Antioch start a fund to help Judean believers, who were greatly affected and in dire need. In Acts 12, Herod Antipas kills the apostle James. The year was AD 44. Seeing how much this delighted the Jews, Herod has Peter arrested for execution after Passover. Despite being securely chained between guards, the angel of the Lord causes a deep sleep to overcome the guards and releases Peter. Peter proceeds to the house where the ecclesia is gathered to pray for his deliverance. A maid named Rhoda answers the door and runs to tell the disciples that Peter was outside. Rhoda is told that she must be mistaken. The disciples say that it must be Peter's messenger, Greek angelos, angel. Peter is admitted to the house, and he recounts how he had been delivered. James, the half-brother of Jesus, was informed and told Peter to secretly depart to a different location where he cannot be found. Herod kills the guards, verses 20 to 23. The chapter concludes with an account of Herod's narcissistic claims and his being smitten with dysentery by the angel of God and Herod dying, verses 20 to 23. Nonetheless, the word of God exceedingly prevails.